Why are we getting this?
Sir, I'm just checking on this. You may please continue.
Good morning and a warm welcome to all the participants to the post-results earnings call of Shaily Engineering Plastics Limited. I hope you all are keeping safe and healthy. Unfortunately, Amit has a medical emergency, so he's on the call, but I'll read his part of the speech and he will be available during the Q&A. This year started off as a standstill and everyone had experience of walking on uncharted waters. As Maya Angelou said, nothing can dim the light which shines from within. We have invested this time in building a strong management team and created a strong base to grow. We have been in continuous.
The conference is now being recorded.
Old and new, and happy to share that we have built a good traction with some of these leading players in their respective industries. This can be further evidenced from the new business confirmations that we have received. Our new business confirmations are spread across toys, home furnishings, pharma devices, pharma packaging, steel furniture, and automotive. We added the following to our order book. Let me qualify that most of these orders are expected to be in development phase for the next 2 quarters and will be commercialized between Q4 of FY21 and Q1 of FY22. We have been awarded 3 projects to the leading toy manufacturer. This is a new customer account which we have added in the current quarter. The total business value is about $6 million a year. We have secured additional business of 50 crores from our home furnishing customer. This will add 9 new SKUs to our kitty. We have finalized development and supply contract with a global pharma customer for supply of pens for the US market. These are pens which Shaily has IP on. We concluded large supplies of CRT caps to a large domestic pharma company and will be again making supplies in the current quarter also. During the quarter, we received confirmation for 2 new SKUs in the steel furniture segment from our home furnishing customers. We were also awarded 3 new projects by Garrett, which was previously known as Honeywell, for rods. On steel furniture segment, I'm happy to share that we have commenced trial production. We expect commercial supplies to start within this quarter and gradual ramp up in Q3 of FY21. Healthcare has been a strong focus area for us at Shaily. We are happy to have pursued our efforts in this segment as we have not only increased the pace of production but also added new orders. Accordingly, we are expecting healthy growth from our pharma segment in the near future. We value our customers' brand and aim to be the pillar of their product. Timely execution of quality products has enabled us to exponentially increase business with existing clients. I will now go to the financial and operational performance during Q1 FY21, following which we will be happy to respond to your queries. The pandemic and related lockdown restrictions affected our manufacturing activities in April. We were able to restart the non-healthcare manufacturing facilities end of April 2020. Thereafter, we have witnessed gradual ramp up in utilization and revenues. Happy to share that we achieved 27 crores of revenue in June 20 and the positive momentum continues in July as well. We are almost at pre-COVID levels. Now, during the quarter, we processed 1,815 tons of polymer, which was at 60% level as compared to the same period last year. Machine utilization rates gradually increased month on month during this quarter. With the season lockdown restrictions, manufacturing operations picked up pace in May 20 with strict safety and hygiene protocols. We ended the quarter with an average utilization rate of 34% as compared to 59% in Q1 FY20. Exports during the quarter stood at 68% of total revenue as compared to 69% in the same period last year. For Q1 FY21, our revenue stood at 46.6 crores as compared to 80.6 crores for the same period last year, dip of 42%. Loss of revenue was majorly contributed by nationwide lockdown. EBITDA for Q1 FY21 is at 3.5 crores for Q1 FY21 on account of lower revenues due to lockdown, which resulted in lower absorption of fixed costs leading to subdued EBITDA. EBITDA margin stood at 7.4% in Q1 FY21. Company reported a net loss of 3 crores for Q1 FY21, while cash PAT for Q1 FY21 was reported at 1.5 crores. As revenue scale up, we are confident to normalize EBITDA margin profile of the company. We expect recovery in H2 FY21 on the back of commercialization of new projects that we've added and won last year. This is all from our side. Now we can open the floor for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We take the first question from the line of Kaushal Shah from Dhanki Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Hope everybody at Shaily are fine and safe. Sir, I have a few questions on our key customer, the home furnishings major. If you can share, maybe throw more color on how the ramp up is likely to happen over the course of this year in the old products as well as the new line that we have started for them. My second question would be on the pharma side, where we've done a lot of work over the last 2 years. So, what is the kind of trajectory that we are looking at in terms of that hard work getting translated into revenues again over the next let's say 24 months or so? These are my 2 questions, sir.
Okay. Sanjay? Yeah, I'll take it up. So on the Sanjay, Amit, do you want to answer that? Or
hello.
I'll take it up, no problem. So with our home furnishings customer, we are close to pre-COVID levels by July, and I think gradual ramp up happening as we move forward. So the stores in Europe and US which were shut have now been open, and we are seeing improved revenues coming in. So as we move during the year, we are seeing ramp up happening. On the new business which we have added with them, as I mentioned in the speech, we expect to commercialize this in Q1 of FY22. So we do not expect substantial revenue from the new projects which we have been awarded recently to come in the current year. On pharma, we have commercialized some of the devices, and the balance devices will be commercialized during this year and early next year. So on a quarter-on-quarter basis, we should be commercializing some of these devices, and we constantly go on adding new projects. So as we had said in the investor presentation also, we have added a customer in the US for devices. This will be more of a development right now, where commercial supplies would then start once the development is completed. I hope this replies your question, Kaushal.
Yes. So if I can just squeeze in one more question. An obvious focus on domestic manufacturing, Atmanirbhar Bharat, etc. So any silver line for us in that area where we can probably get some more orders, or any areas where we can kind of pitch in which were hitherto being imported from China or from other countries?
So some of the things which we're doing on toys, Kaushal, is essentially substituting China with India as a supply base for global supplies, and that's what we are focusing on. We see a lot of traction there. We see a lot of traction on our healthcare front. We see a lot of traction with our home furnishings customers. So that continues to be our focus area.
Right. Thank you, sir. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you.
Thank you. We take the next question from the line of Ankit Gupta from Bamboo Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, can you tell us how does the business on the steel furniture look like for the current year and next year? Like, are you still sticking to your earlier guidance of some ramp up in the current year, and then like 50% plus more ramp up plus utilization level next year?
Okay, can you repeat the question, please? Your voice was not very clear.
Sure. Sir, I'm talking about the outlook on steel furniture for business for this year and next year. How does the ramp-up look like for this segment?
So what we said in the last call was we expect a gradual ramp-up to happen in the current year. We have started trial production, and we will be making commercial shipments in Q2 of FY21. And a gradual ramp-up will happen between Q3 and Q4, where we will go on adding other products which we have added. We expect substantial ramp-up to happen in FY22. I don't want to put in numbers here, but yeah, we expect substantial ramp-up to happen during FY22.
Sure. And, apart from our home furnishing major customers, have we also added some new customers or any discussions in pipeline for the steel furniture segment?
Currently, no. So, on the steel furniture, we first need to commercialize shipments to our existing customers and demonstrate that we have commercialized it right and set up the operations, and then we will look at other customers. Right now, we are not pursuing any customer inquiries.
Sure. And sir, on the toy business, we do understand that China is a major hub for manufacturing of toys. I think a large portion of the global toy manufacturing happens in China. So if you can, tell us how are the European American companies looking to diversify out of China, and how does it benefit to a company like us? I think last few quarters we have been winning new projects on the toy manufacturing side, and we have also won a new customer. If you can briefly highlight about this segment.
What we've talked about in the past also, Ankit, is that toys is a segment we see great opportunities there. Reason being, toys have a lot of compliance requirements in terms of chemical compliance as well as in terms of EHS compliance, where we feel SEBI has strength. Today, if you were to look at global numbers, majority of the toy manufacturing happens in China, and everybody is looking at diversifying their supply chain, where we feel companies like us who have experience of working with global majors and have established systems of supply chain and everything, understanding of logistics, in addition to technology and manufacturing, would be able to take advantage of it. And that's what we are trying to work on. So we added one customer last year, we've added one more customer this year, and are looking at adding projects with these customers and then adding more customers as we move ahead on this.
Sure. So the total business value that you have mentioned of $6 million per year, this is for the combined all the projects for the 3 customers that we have?
This is for one customer where we have taken 3 projects. That's what we mentioned on the presentation also.
Sure. So I think we have 2-3 customers in this segment that we have.
We have 2 customers on this segment.
2 customers. And how do you see this business, in terms of revenue for FY22 and 23?
I wouldn't want to give a number right now, but we see substantial growth between FY22 and FY23. So if you were to look at FY20, we did very negligible sales. We have added $6 million of revenue, which will probably come in FY22. And once we deliver on this, we expect to grow on this business also.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, I'd like to remind participants, if you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Ritesh Shah from Lucky Investment. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations for these new order wins. Sir, just wanted to know the 5 orders which we have put up, which is IKEA, the furnishing major plus toys manufacturer, pens, 2 new SKU for steel, and the projects with Honeywell. The combined revenue potential for this, if you could give a certain number, and will that number totally fructify in FY22 or it will be split in 22 and 23? So,
morning, Ritesh. We have already given revenue on the first 2 segment, where we spent 6 million on toys and 60 crores for the home furnishings major. The global pharma, the device business which we have taken on will be commercialized in FY22, and then we will make exhibit batch supplies and everything in FY22. Post that, we will start commercial supplies to them. Steel furniture, we would be commercializing this project also in FY22, so you see revenue coming in FY22. Garrett, these are prototype businesses which will get commercialized in FY22. Post that, we will basically be looking at doing production batches and everything. CRT supplies, which we have talked about, have been made in the current year and continue to be made in this quarter also.
So, on the best educated guess, would you be able to grow in FY21 over FY20, despite missing the first quarter?
We will.
Possible?
We will grow over in FY22 over FY21. Yes.
No, I'm saying FY21 over FY20.
Yes, we will grow in FY21 over FY20. Yes. Very good.
Do you want to peg a revenue, some ballpark revenue number for 21 and 22 based on the execution plan that we have?
Ritesh, we would not want to give a numbers right now. Reason being is these are uncertain times. But based on what we see in terms of pipeline and orders on hand and everything, we are very clear that we will see growth in FY21 over FY20.
Okay. And lastly, sir...
growth in FY22 over FY21.
Okay. Lastly, with the operations management which we are trying to figure out, is there a case where the margin expansion can come in even at the 330 crore of revenue that we were doing? As I heard initially from the opening remarks from the operating officer about certain projects. So some idea on the margin side, if you could share.
So if you look at last year, if you look at FY20, in spite of revenues being flat and some of our fixed costs going up, we have been able to improve margins. And we expect margins on an overall basis as we move forward on a quarter-on-quarter basis with revenues going up. We expect margins to go up. Two reasons for it. One, what Anil talked about in terms of improvement in operational efficiency, and two, in terms of product mix. Both of these together should lead to improvement in margins.
So for a similar revenue, you would have a better margin. And for expanded revenue, you obviously should have a better margin. That's how I should build a case?
Yes.
Okay. Any thought on the extent of margin expansion possibility?
I would not want to put in a number there.
Okay.
We would have internal targets. I would not want to put in a number there on the call.
Okay. Thank you very much and all the best to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Ankit Agarwal from Ark Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. So I have a couple of questions on the financial. Sir, for the new orders that have been announced, what is the capex that we expect to incur on those?
So we're working on the capex, but our sense is that we would probably do a capex of about 20 to 22 crores for the new orders which we are talking about.
Okay, and how do you plan to then fund this capex?
We already have term loans which have been tied up. So limits are available. We need to just draw on those limits.
Oh, okay. Fine. And just another question is, how much then debt will we have on the books there now for the June quarter?
Total debt on books as of June quarter is about 154 crores.
Okay, fine. And sir, one more question. So sir, given the current situation, do you have any sort of a guidance for this year's sales? For FY21?
Okay, I would not want to give in a guidance. We have already said that we see growth as compared to FY20.
Okay.
With the uncertainty around COVID and everything, we would probably not want to give a guidance right now.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, thanks a lot for the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, please press star, then 1 on your touchtone telephone. We take the next question from the line of Atul Kothari from Projbel Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity, sir. Sir, I would like to know as to what has been the revenue momentum in July, if you can quantify the same.
July revenue, we are close to pre-COVID levels or higher than pre-COVID levels.
Okay. And so what has been the capacity utilization of our CARC caps division?
We don't report individual utilization levels. At the same time, as we have mentioned on the calls earlier also, the CRC facility is used for multiple businesses. So a lot of our device manufacturing also happens in the same facility. So whatever manufacturing we do of the devices, we have not added facility there, and we basically do it within the same facility.
Okay. Sir, and if you can also let us know as to what is the status of our steel furniture project? Will we be doing some kind of revenue booking in Q2 FY21?
We will. So as I mentioned in the speech, we have started trial production, and we will be making commercial shipments in Q2 of FY21.
Okay. Okay. And sir, during our last call in Q4 FY20, you had mentioned that the steel furniture revenue of about 40 to 50 crores. So, do you think we'll be able to achieve this?
It will be a little lower, but yeah, we will still be looking at fairly good ramp up as we move forward in Q3 and Q4.
Okay. And sir, how has been the labor situation on ground? So, are we seeing any challenges in this respect?
I didn't understand your question. Could you repeat a little bit?
Yeah. Sir, basically, how is the labor situation on ground? So, are we seeing any challenges with respect to execution?
I will let Anil ji answer that. So, Anil, it's like this, that the situation currently is well in control. And as I mentioned in my speech earlier, we have also increased the percentage of the female workforce also in the injection molding process, which was not there earlier. So some stability has set in there, and the numbers are constant. We don't see shortfall in production because of no manpower availability. Now, in terms of the IR, it is stable now. We are in regular touch with the people here, and we see some challenge in terms of the availability of manpower during the monsoons, because and the festivity season. But we will overcome that. We have made some arrangements, and I'm sure this will not be a poser for us in the coming quarters. Manpower, right?
Okay. Okay. Sir, coming just a few more questions on our new segment of toys. So basically, we have gained some decent order book in the segment. So, what kind of margin profile does this segment is likely to have?
We don't talk about individual margins, so it will not be correct for me to talk about it.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. And sir, will the toy segment will be for majorly export, or it will be concentrating majorly on a domestic market? So it will be export oriented or domestic market?
Exports.
Acha, majorly exports. Okay. And sir, have our Swedish home furniture started taking supplies at normalized levels like in pre-COVID period?
Yes. So we are close to pre-COVID levels in July.
So sir, can you just give a ballpark figure in terms of at what level? Is it 50%, 75%, how much?
It is higher than that. I don't want to put in a number, but yeah, it's higher than that. As I mentioned, if you have to look at July revenues are close to or higher than pre-COVID levels on an overall basis.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That's all from my end.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, please press star then one on your touchtone telephone. Next question is from the line of Chirag Jain, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thanks for the opportunity. First, my question is on, do we have seen any cancellation of orders due to delay or any cancellation from the business partner on the other side?
Chirag, if you look at the last call which we had, we said there have been orders which have been cancelled, due to which our March revenues were down, and April also our forecasts were down with some of our customers because their stores were down or their facilities were closed and everything. So, except for automotive, where we have not seen demand going back to pre-COVID levels, I think in most of the other cases we are seeing demand going back to pre-COVID levels.
Okay, sure. My next question is that have we seen any growth in the capacity utilization of the pharma division, or if you can define any growth which we have had over the past quarter or the past year on year, if we see?
So I'll probably not get into the capacity utilization, but what we have said earlier, I'll again reiterate the same thing, is pharma as a percentage of revenue during FY20 was higher than FY19, and we expect that growth to continue in FY21.
No, am I saying that if you earned 100 last year, have you seen 120 this year in total revenue from the pharma division? If you could give any ballpark number.
Yes. So that's what we have said. I'm not giving in a number, but what I've said is the revenue which we did in FY19 from the pharma part of the business, and if I were to compare FY20 revenue is higher, and FY21 will be higher than what we did in FY20. We don't want to give a number here in terms of breakup, but yes, there has been an increase in turnover.
Sure. Also that you mentioned in your investor presentation that you see a 2 to 3x growth in pharma division. So do we have a timeline in which we expect to achieve it? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Do we have any timeline?
Sorry, where was this which you said?
In the investor presentation, you have said that you expect a 2 to 3x revenue, 2 to 3 times revenue increase from the pharma division.
Which is over a period of 3 to 5 years.
Okay, for 3 to 5 years also. If I could squeeze another one. There was a issue with a coffee mug with one of our major customers in the past. Do we have seen any updates or recall or penalty on that? Or what is the status, if you can update?
That's a closed issue for us.
I couldn't hear you. Can you please repeat?
That's a closed issue for us.
Okay.
It's an issue which is closed for us.
Okay. Thank you. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants connected to this conference, if you have a question, please press star then one on your touchtone telephone. We take the next question from the line of Aman Dwivedi from Alpha Alternatives. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. My question was on the steel furnishing segment. What is the likely revenue run rate that you can hit in FY23? And at that revenue, what is your likely operating margins? I have a further question. The second question is in respect of dumping duties on steel, because of which domestic steel prices are higher than international steel prices. How does that impact your steel furnishings business?
Could you please repeat the question, please?
So what are your expectations from the steel furnishings business in FY23, and what are the likely operating margins in the segment?
So if you were to look at FY23, we have said that the steel furniture business from the current plant which we have set up can give us revenues of about 130-135 crores, and we are working towards increasing that also. So if I were to look at FY23, that's the level of revenue at the bare minimum we should be able to achieve. In terms of margin, as I said earlier, we would not be able to talk about individual businesses and individual margins.
But are they likely to be on par with the company's overall margins on a blended basis? Are they likely to be at the similar levels to company's current operating margins?
It will be similar or better.
Okay. My second question was on steel duties, particularly anti-dumping duties that are imposed. How does the higher steel prices in the Indian market, in the domestic market, impact this business?
So foreign exchange for us is neutral in most of our businesses. So to that extent, it will not impact it.
No, not foreign exchange. I was talking about import duties. Import duties on steel.
So see, the steel furniture which we make is for export. So if I'm doing it for export, I'm basically able to import material duty free.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, please press star then 1. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Vora from Mission Holding. Please go ahead.
Thank you for opportunity and congratulations for improved numbers over month in the last quarter. So my question is, sir, what is our focus now? Because we have entered into a steel work, carbon steel production plant also as per the presentation. Up till now, I understood it was a plastic molded company and other molded product you are doing. So, is this expansion is a natural extension of what you are doing, considering your client may require this, or it is a totally different market and different client?
I think we have answered this in the past. I'll probably let Amit answer that. Janice, can you unmute Amit and let Amit answer this?
Sure, sir, I'll do that. You may please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. So first, it is an expansion of our relationship with one of our key customers. Second, and more importantly, as we go forward in multiple segments across multiple industries, products will become multi-material. So you will come across more and more combination products than just plastic or just steel. Even in our steel furnishing, steel furniture products, we are using plastic components today. So it was about marrying the two. You would be aware that we've also started electronics. So in the future, it'll be about marrying all three of them into individual products. There's a combination. One is a expansion on the existing relationship with our customer where they have a need and have a lot of confidence in us to deliver. And second is moving into high value combination products going forward.
So it is mostly a furniture and furnishing product. That's the line of business we are in.
See, the plant is a steel fabrication plant. So there's stamping, punching, bending, welding, powder coating. Using this plant, you can make multiple types of steel products. It's not necessarily only furniture.
Right. And what is our asset turnover on this steel plant? And the previous question was about the EBITDA margin. So more or less, can we consider that EBITDA margin will be more or less in line with your present business?
On the steel business, the margin should be slightly improved because there's a higher value add content. So raw material content is slightly lower than the plastic business.
Okay, so EBITDA margin will be higher in the steel business.
Yes, slightly higher. Yes.
And what do you think? So your capex over the next 2-3 years, what kind of capex we will be spending? It will be through internal generation, through debt or something. What kind of expansion plan we have over next 2 to 3 years?
Sanjay bhai?
Yeah, man. So, Pritesh, I think over the next 3 years, we'll probably be looking at investing about anything between 30 to 40 crores on a yearly basis in the next 3 years. And we would basically be looking at funding this with a combination of debt and internal accruals. So if you were to look at last 4 years, majority of our expansions have been funded by a mix of 50% debt, 50% internal accruals, and I think we will continue funding it in the same way.
All right, sir. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, I would like to remind all participants, if you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touchtone telephone. We take the next question from the line of Avinash Gupta, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. You see, in the past we had a target of $100 million turnover by, I think it was 2020 or 2019, I don't recall exactly. Have we abandoned that target or still it remains on our there? That is one. And second thing, I wanted to understand the steel business. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
We are in the business of having precision manufacturing. And I understand steel business is relatively does not have that kind of precision. I mean, if you could enlighten me as to what kind of products have that such precision where our skills will be of use.
So we have not abandoned the target. Answer to your first question, we have merely delayed it. On your second question, I disagree that steel furniture does not require that kind of precision. The precision is not on the steel furniture side. It's not measured in microns of accuracy. However, there is a very, very high level of precision required because it has to do with safety of the consumer. You can't, so both on the from the steel fabrication side of it, and second, the chemical compliance on account of using powder coating operations. So you go through degrease and we've installed a line which uses a organic compound to pre-treat the components and not phosphating. So there is a high level of compliance and accuracy needed even in the steel furnishings business.
Okay. Not that. Sorry, I didn't want to say that it's not there. It must be there. That's why we are doing it.
We're not
I just wanted to understand.
Steel furniture. We're not a fabrication shop that makes that hand bends and makes these one-off steel furnitures. It's an automated production line, so the accuracy is very high.
Okay. And okay, thank you.
Thank you. We take the next question from the line of Viraj Mehta from Equirus PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Sir, just one question. When you talked about that you have a reasonable possibility of growing this year, FY21 over FY20, does this, first of all, that would mean more than 20% growth for the rest of the 3 quarters. So do we have confirmed orders in hand for the 3 quarters, or is it more of an educated guess from our side based on our conversations? And the second question I had is, does this growth include the top line coming from the steel furniture business?
Okay. So yes, this includes some part of the revenue from the steel furniture, which we will gradually ramp up between Q3 and Q4 after making commercial supplies in Q2. And coming back to your first part of the question, we get forecasts from customers which are dynamic, but when we are saying we're looking at growth, it's a combination of forecasts which we have from customers today, and in some cases all fixed orders which we have today, and based on that which we are very confident that we would basically be able to have growth over FY20 in the current year.
And sir, the $100 million that in the last question you alluded that we have delayed, in your best educated guess, by what year do you think we can reach there, including the new businesses that we have started? Will it be FY22, FY23, FY24? I mean, just your educated guess.
Raj, I don't want to put in a date there. Let's first 2 quarters go. Let this year go, and we will talk about it. Amit, do you want to add anything to that?
No, at the end of the year, we will, however, talk about it. And you see the numbers quarter on quarter.
Okay. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touchtone telephone.
Very sharp, very, very sharp.
This is a reminder to all participants connected to this conference. If you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touchtone telephone. We take the next question from the line of Ashish Kacholia from Lucky Investment. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Congratulations on a good set of numbers. Actually, even though the numbers have ended in a loss, but the fact that we were able to do a positive EBITDA margin, I thought was pretty encouraging. And, with our, decision and our action in getting our new CEO on board, I think we have kind of taken the first steps towards professionalizing our company for a bigger play. So my only question would be, what is the next step from here in terms of, beefing up our management team? Do we feel the need to bring in more people from outside? And so what scale is our current management team capable of handling that? Because we don't seem to have a shortage of business. We have only stumbled on execution in terms of being able to deliver. So can you just elaborate on this aspect of your thinking from here, Amit? And even I would love to hear from our new CEO as well, what is the kind of thoughts that he has in terms of scaling up our operation from here?
Sure. So I will just say a few words before I hand it over to Anil to maybe elaborate on the topic. You're right, Ashish. I think we've had lots of challenges in execution in the past. We haven't identified and built enough capabilities in a time when we had to execute the project. So having said that, we are certainly looking for more people. That doesn't mean we're adding to the current strength, but we're probably looking at upskilling within the numbers that we have. So we are looking for an engineering head of our engineering services, and I will hand it over to Anil. And we're also hiring in business development, both in India and outside of India. So I will let Anil take over from here.
Well, I think with the challenges that come to the company with the toy business and also growth of the furniture business and carbon steel, we have to enhance the capability of the team there. And as Amit has just mentioned, head of engineering, business development are on the anvil, and we are doing this very seriously, and we hope to fill in this position soon. Also, we need to improve the operational team in the plant. To that extent, we are hiring young, qualified engineers from CIPET and other places for the plastic business, and trying to train them in-house so that they spend longer tenure with us rather than getting a personal experience from outside with a baggage of problems. So that is the strategy that we are now working on. And also the awareness in terms of what manufacturing excellence would be is being brought about with the teams here. And to that extent, we have improved the OEE, the overall equipment efficiency in July by 7 to 10% over the previous month. So that is what we are working on. So as I said earlier, it is important to strengthen the bottom line while we grow on revenues and also add business. So that will bring in the requisite strength, and I think management team has to be strong enough. So that is how I sum it up.
Anil bhai, since you come from the Samvardhan Motherson Group, where the concept of 30% ROCE was pretty much ingrained into every person who worked there, do you think that is possible to be done in Shaily also?
See, the plan is that we are working towards that, but it was not 30% in Motherson, which was Tiger for 10 years has been talking about 40%. But
I am just saying the first. अरे सर अभी तो अपन 20% पे 18-20% में 30 कर ले तो I think it will be a great thing for us. So I'm not going to 40.
There is expectation that Amit and Mike also have. That's how they got me in here.
No, but sir, I mean, I would think that a person like you with your kind of experience should probably be, I'm sure you're thinking of doing it also, kind of thinking about where do we get to $200-300 million as a first planning horizon. Eventual ambitions can be higher, but first planning, goal, if we can take it towards $200-300 million kind of a size from where we are, I think it can be an interesting play.
Yeah, actually, let us do it step by step. I think we have started the right way with the business development team headed by Amit and Sanjay Bhai, bringing in the newer segment of business, the newer vertical addition, which has huge potential. Let us first stabilize on that and gain some numbers, top line and bottom line. And gradually, I think over the years, it should grow, the company should grow. That's what is required also, and that is the need of the investors and also all stakeholders. Right?
Great, sir. Thank you very much and all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, please press star then one. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Vora from Mission Holding. Please go ahead.
Sir, what is our, as you mentioned, ROC target is 30%. When can you achieve that target?
Pritesh, we have not said our ROC target is 30%.
Okay. So what are the product extension and what are the the inventory of the products which can improve the return ratio?
So what we are working on is two things. One is product mix, and we are moving up the value chain with looking at increased business coming in from pharma, which will basically help us improve the margin profile.
All right. So pharma is what percentage of revenue as of now?
We don't get into individual numbers. I'm sorry, Pritesh.
Okay. So what are the major sector of the business we are in? One is the pharma, other is the molded for furnishing. What are the other business products we have?
Broadly, we are present across 5 verticals. One is called consumer, which basically includes home furnishings, toys, everything. Second is FMCG. Third is automotive. Fourth is pharma, which includes devices and packaging. And the fifth is engineering. So these are broad areas which we are present across.
And you also mentioned previously that you will be doing 30-35 crore from internal accrual. But I see your debt to EBITDA is already at 3. So do you have the space to take more debt?
So when you're looking at debt to EBITDA, you're looking at the June quarter number or the March quarter numbers?
The previous year number.
If I were to look at previous numbers, I don't think my debt to EBITDA is 3. It's more than that.
No, I think it's a TTN number. TTN number I'm looking at.
Yeah, so June is an exceptional quarter, and I don't think June can become a benchmark for that. So if you want to look at March numbers, it's much lower. And
no, I just want to understand what is the debt provider comfortable with? What debt to EBITDA they are comfortable with? Is there any covenant in your?
We do not want to go beyond 3 at any point of time. That's so we are very, very clear.
You don't want to move beyond?
Yeah. So we will not go beyond 3. We will be cautious on debt and take on that much of debt which we think we can service.
All right. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Have a best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, please press star then one on your touchtone telephone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management for their closing comments.
Thank you everyone for joining on the call. We hope we have been able to answer your questions. For further information, request you to get in touch with SGA, our investor relation advisor. Thank you and stay safe. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Shirley Engineering Plastics Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect your lines.